15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Is that Shakespeare?
Nope, it's Geico.
Yeah, that's Shakespeare from one of his unpublished works. Oh, it be not for awakening. Nay, giveth thou the berries. For 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Nope, it's from Geico, because they help save people money.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but Geico got it from Shakespeare.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Today is nonstop. And suddenly, your checking account is overdrawn. But what if we gave you more time on that one? At Huntington, if you accidentally overdraw your account by $50 or less, we've put a $50 safety zone in place, so you won't be charged an overdraft fee. It's one more way we're looking out for you, so you can have time for what matters most. Huntington, welcome. $50 safety zone does not apply to returned items. Your account will be automatically closed if it remains negative for 60 days. Learn more at huntington.com/safetyzone.
The following is a Hoop Ball presentation. Welcome to the Fantasy NBA Today podcast.
Hello, and welcome to the Hoop Ball DFS Today podcast. I am your host, Mike Apatra, joined by my good buddy Chuck here to break down this wonderful Sunday, February 7th slate for you guys. We have 5 games to talk about, but it feels good to be back. Let's just get that out, and I have to say it. Obviously, if you guys are daily listeners or follow me on Twitter, you notice I haven't done a show in quite some time, so I had to take some time off, deal with some family things, be there with the family and for the family. And, it's a thing that's easier said than done when you have an awesome team around you like the guys I have here at the DFS Today and at Hoop Ball because, nothing skips a beat. These guys are absolutely fantastic. They crushed it every single day I was gone. I listened to every single show. I read every article, and I missed every single person, and I missed doing them. So, needless to say, I'm glad to be back. I'm ready to jump back into things. Thank you for everybody who reached out to me. Let me say that first. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. A lot of nice things were said, and it does mean a lot to me. It definitely does. So, thank you everybody for that as well. But Chuck, how you doing, man? It feels like forever since we last spoke.
Yeah, man, I'm doing good, man. It's good to hear your voice back on the pod. I know we were supposed to do the past couple weeks. I just hope, hope everything's going good for you and your family. The best it can be going forward. And just excited to be finally doing a pod with you on a Saturday.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And yeah, these are my favorite shows, the Saturday shows. Listen, there's no day job work on the weekend for me, so I get to kind of check over the slate. I get to relax a little bit. Take my mind off the what's on the schedule tomorrow for work. This is also a very unique slate because it's on a special day of the big game. So while a lot of people are going to be sitting there watching the big game, whether it's the Chiefs or Bucks, maybe they're doing DFS for football, there's still going to be some basketball going on early in the day, and people may not be researching as much. Plain and simple, when crossover in sports happen, it is hard for those players who, invest into both of those to kind of focus attention to both. So we can generally get a little advantage, a little bit of an edge here. But we're going to jump right into things. We only have 5 games to talk about, so it's not going to be a crazy long podcast. Also, I got to get my vocal cords back up to where they used to be, to being a little while. But before we just jump right into it, just a quick shout out to MyBookie. If you guys haven't already signed up at mybookie.ag, I really don't know what to tell you. You're missing out. You missed out all these odd boosts and promo games that we're just pretty much throwing around free money. But it's not too late. If you're listening to this in the morning, the big game is tonight. Go to mybookie.ag, sign up, use that promo code HoopBall. That's HOOPBALL. You'll get a 50% deposit match on up to $1,000. So you deposit $1,000, they will give you $500 for free. You can use that all on the big game. You can do prop bets, you can do parlays, or you can go check out their unique and wonderful, fully fledged casino platform. So anything that you can imagine that might be local table games, whether it's slots, you name it, they have it. So much fun, so many things you can do over there at MyBookie. Just head over there, guys. Use that promo code HoopBall. That is HOOPBALL. And I'd be a little remiss if I didn't mention our good friends over at Manscaped. They are absolutely crushing the male grooming business. All their different products. You guys hear us talk about them all the time, whether it's the lawnmower 3.0, the weed whacker. They're all absolutely fantastic. And, me and Santino talk, what's your favorite product? And even the boxers are fantastic. So they got these compression shorts, everything. And you can get a little piece of every single one of their products. If you get that perfect package kit, try it out. It's great for little travel occasions, whether you're a business travel or you're just going on a vacation, or if you just want to make it a nice little gift. It's all perfect, and it gets even more perfect or even better if you head over there and use that promo code HoopBall20. You get 20% off plus free shipping on your entire purchase. So, Jack, we got some good things right here, my good man. We got
Absolutely.
some good things. We are here. 5 games to talk about. First game on the docket. These start at 1 p.m. As you guys know, there was a game that was already postponed or canceled. That was supposed to be the Blazers versus the Hornets. Now it's going to be the Hornets versus the Wizards. So, first game of the night, Utah Jazz traveling to Indiana to take on this Pacers team. As far as the injury report goes for the Pacers, Brian Bowen, Karis LeVert, Cassius Stanley, TJ Warren, all ruled out. For the Jazz, only major to note is Mike Conley has already been ruled out. And it's also worth mentioning, I'll just say here at the top, we do not have any totals. We do not have any lines. We do not have any spreads. So some of these teams on back-to-backs, and just keep an eye on that in the morning. We should have that news, if not by midnight tonight, as we're recording this about 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time the night before. So I'll pass it over to you, my good friend Chuck.
All right.
Break this down for me. Let's talk about this Utah Jazz team. No Mike Conley. We got to expect some usage, some minutes, some ball handling, a little bit of everything to get spread around. But who are you looking at?
Yeah, it's a lot of usage that needs to go around on this Utah team. Looking at Jordan Clarkson for filling in the role of Mike Conley on this one. He should get a lot more usage than he's been getting, and he's been getting a fair amount for the entire season. So at 5,700, Jordan Clarkson, just the way he's been playing, he's been hitting threes and just going out there as a 6-man. He should. I'm assuming he might get that start. So Jordan Clarkson at 5,700 is a great play on the Utah side of the ball. And I'm guessing with Conley out, there's a lot of guys that are up in that 7-8K range on the slate. Not many games, but still there are some good studs. But Donovan Mitchell, 7,900. When Conley's not on the floor, Donovan Mitchell is usually the one facilitating and dominating and getting that usage. So, if that's a guy you want to look at 7,900, he's definitely in play for the Utah side of the ball. And there's not much value. Bogdanovich, he just came off a great game. He's shooting. He's doing everything. So, you could take a look at him. You could take a look at Joe Ingles. Joe Ingles is down at 5,300. He's a good facilitator. With Conley out, he's going to be getting tons of usage as well. So, these guys, they're the regular guys that are getting usage on a daily, but with Conley out, they're definitely going to get a bump. Yeah,
I think you just said it perfectly. Utah, there's not too many guys that we necessarily expect to just thrust right into a new role and all of a sudden just, be one of those spot start 35-minute type guys that we could plug and play at 3K. They don't really have that. Their usage just kind of gets spread around. We're going to see Mitchell handle the ball a little bit more. I don't think we'll see Clarkson start. I think we'll still probably see Clarkson come off the bench. We'll likely probably see Ingles slide into that starting lineup.
Right.
It could be either or. But Ingles, nonetheless, they'll both get a bump in usage. They'll both handle the ball a little bit more. They'll both have to play a little bit more point guard. We saw Ingles' assist go up in the last one once Conley went down. So I have interest in both those guys. I don't mind Mitchell. I think a lot of people are going to go to him. It doesn't hurt. 7,900. If you have the money, it's Donovan Mitchell. The guy could get hot, and he's going to probably have 20 to 24 shot attempts in this game. So wouldn't mind him. And then I think we need a dumpster dive. There's one other guy we can look at, and it's going to be Derek Favors. 3,900. Not my favorite guy on the slate. Nonetheless, they're going against Indiana, who plays big. They're not going to be able to get away with just running Bogdanovich at the 4 the entire time, going against a guy like Domantas Sabonis. They might want to get a little bit more Favors action involved in there. 3,900. The guys put up at least 20 DK points in 4 straight games, so he's hitting value. And if you give him maybe 20 to 22, 23 minutes, he might be able to get you 25. So don't hate it, but not the best play. It's there if you need it. But we'll slide over to this Indiana side of the ball now. Things are a little more interesting on this side because we are finally starting to get some depressed salaries for this guys. First thing that pops off the page for me is Domantas Sabonis at 8,300. It feels like we haven't seen that price tag in quite some time. Do you have any interest in it?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen him at 10K before. I mean, he just came off an awful game. What a letdown for any of the owners who had him that last game. 3 for 13. Usually popping big doubles on it every night, but just a rare outing for him. I expect to bounce back. Again, there's some studs on this, and out of 5 games. He is going against Utah, one of the best defenses in the league. So it's a tough call. I'm probably going to have a share of Sabonis because I do expect a bounce back, but it's tough against the Utah defense to take him in this one. I think the other guy who stepped up last game when Sabonis was really struggling there was Jeremy Lamb, 5,800. Just had a good game, 17 points, 6 rebounds. He shot 5 for 6, 83%. 5,800 is just a good price for Jeremy Lamb. Just he's getting his minutes bumped, and he's got a good usage roll over there on that side. And not much real value on this side, but I do like Justin Holiday just because he did have a good game, 22 points that last game. So, I mean, other than that, Brogdon's been struggling with his shot, so I'm gonna fall back off him on this one.
Yeah, so I mean, you touched on it. These guys, both Brogdon and Sabonis are kind of looking for bounce back games in this one, and they're both of their salaries kind of reflect upon their poor performances. Bottom line, they're both in good matchups despite what their DVA says. You look on DraftKings, it says that they're playing the first opponent ranked position at their positions, and don't get me wrong, they kind of are. But the bottom line is Brogdon's not going against Mike Conley, and Mike Conley is the reason why they are so good against opposing point guards. He is not there. Brogdon's a little cheaper at 7,600, so he makes sense to me as a GPP play. Someone a little bit more contrarian. I probably could do a little bit safer and better in cash, but I definitely don't mind Brogdon as much as I normally would in this matchup. And the same thing could be said for Sabonis. A lot of that bad matchup, it just reflects upon him also being center eligible and going against a guy named Rudy Gobert. But Miles Turner will probably spend most of the time with Rudy. And if that's the case, Sabonis should be able to find a little bit of a mismatch between Bogdanovich and Ingles and all these other guys, unless they just decide to keep running Favors at the 4. And even then, that's still a mismatch. Mm-hmm. Favors' feet not quick enough probably to handle Sabonis. But I don't mind both those priced up guys. If I'm looking to go maybe a little bit cheaper in any of these spots, I wouldn't mind looking at a guy like McDermott. McConnell's getting up there in price. I'll probably avoid him at 5,500. And Lamb, you touched on him. It's just tough for me because it's hit or miss at this point. He's priced up to the point where there's still a little bit left on the bone, a little meat left on that bone at 5,800. We've seen him get over 30 a few times. Yeah. I think at the end of the day, I'll probably end up going in other spots. But I don't hate it. It's another contrarian play. I think if you go with any of these Pacers, you're kind of using it in a little bit of a contrarian approach in this kind of matchup. But we'll slide on to the next game.
Cool.
Miami Heat traveling to New York to take on the Knicks. So the Knicks played earlier today as well. We saw that. They kind of mopped the floor with the Blazers pretty early on. And it was just dominating defense in that game. But we'll talk about the injury report before we jump into anything. For the Heat, Avery Bradley, Goran Dragic, Maurice Harkless, Myers Leonard, all ruled out. Gabe Vincent is probable. Jimmy Butler is probable as well. The Knicks did not release their injury report. Like I said, they played today. So we'll start off with this Miami Heat team. They've been just in and out with just different bodies sliding all around. And, Jimmy Butler playing, that's a great thing. We'd love to see it. 8,400. It's a fine price tag. Do I end up going to it? I want to say no, but there's a slight narrative that has me a little interested. He's going against his guy. He's going against his guy, Tibbs. It's going to be in New York.
Yep.
There's a little bit of that narrative, so I'm not going to completely write him off. Jimmy might just get up for this game. Him and Tibbs had a great relationship. This isn't like I hate that coach kind of thing. If you remember, when Tibbs was coach in Minnesota, he's the one that went out of his way to get Jimmy there, and Jimmy wanted to be there because of Tibbs. So I wouldn't be surprised if he has a little action. I probably won't be playing any Bam. Tyler Hero, he'll see a little bit of increased usage at 6,900. I don't love it. I don't hate it. The Knicks have been playing good defense. It's back-to-back, so maybe a little bit more involved. You could get a little bit more involved on Tyler Hero. But at that price tag, I don't think I'll end up going to him. If anything, it's going to be Jimmy Butler, contrarian. Kendrick Nunn should continue to see decent minutes in this rotation as long as one of these wings are out. And Avery Bradley is believe he's already been rolled out. Yep, like I said, Avery Bradley already rolled out. So he should continue to see at least low 20s. I don't know if we can expect, the 33, the 32 every single night. I don't expect him to shoot 11 of 17 like he did in the last one against Washington in a blowout. That game, he got extra garbage time run as well. Nonetheless, I think that we can definitely look at him. He's not that cash game lock-in, but he's definitely in play. So for me, the guys I'll be taking a look at, it'll be Kendrick Nunn. It'll be a little bit of Jimmy Butler, and then that's probably it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. That's exactly who I'm looking at. Kendrick Nunn will be getting that look, a little bit Tyler Hero, and definitely got to take a couple shots on Jimmy. Yeah, I'm gonna pass on Bam as well. So just because the Dragic news, and Avery Bradley being out, definitely got to look at Hero and like you said, Kendrick Nunn. So I'm with you on this one.
All right, then let's look on the other side of the ball. The Knicks here. They played well. There's a few guys that we might be able to look back and go back to the well. Elfrid Payton being one of them. He absolutely balled out today. And I wouldn't say like absolutely, balled out, but the guy went out there, put up 22, 7, and 4. Kind of looked like he was comfortable. And for the past 2 games, he has his starting job back. So at 4,500, if he does it again, now keep in mind it's Tibbs. We could see that carpet get pulled out very quickly, but it looks like he's making a concerted effort to temper the expectations on quickly. The hype train was getting a little out of control with him. Everybody was talking about when's he going to take the job, when's he going to take the job. That's not Tibbs' thing. So keep that in mind. At 4,500, Elfrid Payton is definitely in play. Now, the Heat aren't a team I like to target point guards against, but if he's going to play 35 or 30-plus minutes at 4,500, I have to have some shots on him. So I do like me some Elfrid Payton. Outside of that, I think I might take a couple stabs at maybe a guy like Alec Burks, but I still think I prefer Payton over him a little bit. And that's probably it for me over here. I have more interest in the later games.
Yeah. Somebody like Julius Randle. I'm going to be looking up going forward a little ahead of the schedule with guys around his salary. But Alec Burks had a great game. I'll definitely be looking at him at 5,200. RJ Barrett, probably take he's at 6,300, but I'm definitely going to take a couple shots on him. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me on this side. Peyton did have a great game, but it's just back to back. I don't know if Tibbs is going to be, try to give Rivers some run, or I know Rivers is suffering a little ankle problem there, but might be able to see Rivers on a back-to-back here. And Noel should have been playing this game, but he didn't play. So he, at his salary right now, he's pretty low. Where is he at 3,800? It might take a shot at him if I end up seeing that he's in.
All right. We will keep it moving then. We're at the halfway point right here. Cool. Third game. Another 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time game. Washington Wizards traveling to Charlotte, take on the Hornets. 4 injuries. The Hornets, Vernon Carey, Nate Darling, Devontae Graham, Jalen McDaniels, all ruled out, while P.J. Washington is questionable. For the Wizards, Thomas Bryant is out. Raul Neto is questionable. This is where things get juicy for each other. This is where I start to get a lot of my exposure. You guys were probably listening and saying, well, he doesn't like anybody. He likes Elfrid Payton. He likes maybe a little bit of Malcolm. Oh, we got a guest. No, that's okay. It wouldn't be the first bark we had on the podcast. So
coming out of nowhere.
No worries. I'll start off here. I'll look at the Wizards. This is going to be a game where I'm definitely going to want some exposure. I'm expecting a fairly close game. I'm expecting a fairly high total in this one. So looking at Beal, looking at Westbrook, both these guys very much in play. They're the reason that, I mentioned I'm not playing Julius Randle. I'm not playing Bam. Yes, they're different positions, but they're both that high price tag. I want one of these two guys. I want one of Beal. I want one of Westbrook. I probably prefer Westbrook coming off of a bad game. 8,900. He's under 9K for a guy that can triple-double on any given night. And it's just the floor that you feel comfortable with Westbrook. 8,900, it's unreal. So cash, GPPs, he's good for both of them. I don't mind him. Beal maybe a little bit safer in GPP, or a little bit better for GPPs, just because I think Westbrook has that little slightly safer floor. I can't even say that Beal's averaging like 35 actual points, but I have interest in them. And then the other guy I want to take a look at is somebody who's just been balling and playing well, and it's Alex Len. He's doing it in limited minutes, but over the last 2 games, this dude has just been productive on his new team. Keep in mind, he started over there in Toronto this season. I guess I should say Florida, but 18 points, 3 boards, 2 assists, 5 blocks, 2 steals in that last one. Now, don't expect those defensive numbers every single time, but even in the game prior where he had no steals, no blocks, still was able to put up about 24.5 DK points. So He looks like he's going to be that stable backup center. He's pretty much splitting the time right down the middle with Robin Lopez. And at 4K, I could definitely see myself taking a couple stabs at a guy like Alex Len. Wouldn't expect him to draw a whole lot of ownership. I don't expect him to be necessarily sneaky, but definitely makes sense if you wanted to use him in a little bit of your GPP lineup. So I'll be looking at some Westbrook, a little bit of Beal, and then some Alex Len, and that is probably it for me.
Yeah, I'm looking at Beal, 9,300. Just coming off a bad game, I expect definitely a bounce back for him. Just shot poorly there, but it's Beal, and I expect him definitely to have a great game against Charlotte. Other than that, I'm not really liking the value here. I mean, Alex Len call, that's definitely a good call. I expected Denny to have a better game that last game, but I'm going to pass now. He's at 4K, so I'm just really looking at Beal, and yeah, I'll take a couple shots at Len, just like you said.
Yeah, the thing about Denny is just you need one of Westbrook or Beal to be sitting. They just take too much usage.
Yeah.
There's just no shot attempts to go around, and even with Westbrook playing, it's hard for these bigs to get the rebounds, and that's why I'd rather play Len over a guy like Lopez. Give me the center that's getting the rebounds on the second usage, where maybe Westbrook's not playing as much. I prefer that. We'll slide over to the other side of the ball. It's pretty much just as interesting over here. Things get good, and then they get better. So we already know that we're missing Devontae Graham, so we should see a starting backcourt of LaMelo Ball, Terry Rozier. Sign me up. Terry Rozier, 5,600. That is a stupid cheap price tag. I just expect him to be quite chalky, especially with no Devontae Graham. In his first game back after returning from injury, he managed 36 minutes. He's fine. Put up 33.5 DK points. I'm good with it. He's going to be one of my favorite plays on the slate for cash and GPP. So if you want to take a shot at Rozier, go for it. I'm with you there. LaMelo Ball, same thing. 7,800. I prefer Rozier over him. I think a lot of people will go straight to LaMelo for the upside. Don't blame them. Wouldn't expect 27 shot attempts again necessarily, but he still has that triple-double upside always baked into him. So both those guys very much in play. And you could say the same thing about Hayward as well. Those three guys I'll be targeting. If we see that P.J. Washington's rolled out, you can take a look at Bridges, but he's priced up now at about 5,600, so I'll probably end up taking a pass. I'll just keep it with the guards and then a little bit of Hayward.
Yeah, I'll pass on Bridges too. Off that 16 minutes, just wasn't getting much usage the last game like we expected him to get. Yeah, and just everybody in the front court on Charlotte, just not really looking at them, especially in this matchup. Not producing the way I would like him to produce. Gordon Hayward's up on his salary now. He's been in that 7K range, and now he's up to 8. So I do like playing Gordon Hayward, but I think just at the salary, I'm going to have to pass on him. I'll have a couple shares at LaMelo Ball just because he looks like a wizard out there, and he's doing good. 7,800. If you're going to want to alternate your lineups, he's a good guard to have there. And yeah, like you said, Rozier down to 5,600, just a good price. Expect him to definitely hit value on that. So that's pretty much it on this side.
All right, man. 2 games left. We're going to keep it moving. Boston Celtics traveling to Phoenix, take on the Suns, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time game. For their injury report for the Celtics, Jaylen Brown, Romeo Langford, Marcus Smart all ruled out. For the Suns, Jay Crowder is doubtful. Abdul Nader's probable. And Cameron Payne and Dario Saric have been ruled out. Now, game's going to be a little bit interesting. No Jaylen Brown for the Celtics team. We already know where we want to look. We want to look at Tatum. We want to look at Walker. We expect these guys to get a ton of usage. But this isn't a normal matchup. Phoenix has been playing great defense all season long. They slow the pace down. Tatum priced up at 9,400. It's still a fair price tag for this guy. I mean, he should just be smacking in about 45 to 50 on a night-in, night-out basis. For as tough of a matchup as this is, Jay Crowder is one of their better defenders, and he's ruled out. He'll probably see a fair amount of Bridges still, but it's still a great matchup for Tatum. I think I'll end up probably spending my money elsewhere, between Westbrook and we'll get to Kawhi Leonard later. But Tatum would make the GPP pivot off of those two guys. He's surely going to have less ownership than him in most contests than those two. Their other ones are just a little bit safer. For those reasons, that's kind of the only options I'm going to be really looking at Tatum. I don't know if I trust him as much in cash, but I don't fault you if you do. I just think that I probably prefer Westbrook and Kawhi Leonard in my cash lineups. Kemba Walker, 68. He does draw the tougher matchup, though. He will get some Chris Paul defense. Nonetheless, 6,800, still a great price tag for the guy. He's in play. Do I end up with as much of him as I did in the last slate? Probably not. But he's still in play. And Tice did hurt his knee, but he's not on the injury report. He's expected to play in this one, it looks like. So expect that to be a big jumbled up mess in the front court still with Tice, Thompson, and Robert Williams. Between those three, If I had to pick one, I'd probably go Thompson. But I don't feel good about any one of them. I think I already talked about a few cheap center options I prefer over them. So what are you looking at on the Celtics?
Yeah, this is on this entire slate. This is where my value looks. I like a lot of value on this on both sides of the ball here. Robert Williams, 3,600. Just because Brad Stevens said that Tice was kind of looking a little slow on that last one, a step behind, and that's why he didn't end up playing him the rest of that game. So Robert Williams, Time Lord, 3,600. Just when he's out there and getting those minutes, no matter what minutes he's getting, he's crushing value. Grant Williams got the start last game. Not sure what's going to happen this one. If he does get the start, I'm definitely going to take a look at him at 3,600. And Peyton Pritchard, 3,900. Every time this guy gets the ball, and I just want him to shoot because he makes it every time. I'm just like, shoot, dude. And he looks good. 3,900, definitely a solid play. He's getting those minutes, and he seems to be getting more confidence out there. And, yeah, I'll take some shots at Tatum, 9,400. Kemba had a nice run in the second half there. He seemed like get some momentum. Hopefully he can get it going in this game, in this matchup. A little faster pace, so 6,800, not a bad guard at that mid-tier range.
Exactly. If you land on that mid-tier, it's hard not to slide him right in there. And Pritchard's been outplaying Jeff Teague all season long, so I expect those minutes to keep kind of rising for Pritchard as he's coming off of that knee injury he was dealing with. I would expect those to probably creep more up into like the low to mid-20s. On the Phoenix side, though, these guys all feel a little bit priced right. I have one guy that I have a lot of interest in. Actually, I guess we could say two. And it's not Chris Paul. It's going to be DeAndre Ayton, 6,800. I love targeting centers against the Celtics. They have a lot of bodies to throw out there, but they need Ayton. And they talked about after the last game, they got away with an easy win against Detroit, but when they got smacked by New Orleans, they needed Ayton to step up big. And they need this guy to be a big role player. So I'm sure Chris Paul gave him his pep talk. They came out there. They smashed the Pistons. He's going to say, listen, I expect you to do the same thing against a good team. But at 6,800, he's one of my favorite center plays on him just because he's that nice mid-tier. Gives us that 30 to 40-point upside easily in there as well. So DeAndre Ayton, sign me up. And then the other guy I'm looking at is going to be Devin Booker. The minutes, I want to see them, a little bit stable. They're slowly kind of working their way up. They're still in the low 30s when he was a guy that was playing, high 30s, low 40s almost a little bit earlier in the year. But with no Jaylen Brown and no Marcus Smart, this Celtics team does not have that same perimeter defense that they normally would. That's a position that we would avoid targeting against them, but it's because of those two guys. So I don't mind taking a look at it and target a guy like Devin Booker. Again, some people get scared off of that rank when they see that they're facing the number 2 team against opposing shooting guards. Well, they were. But without Marcus Smart and not Jaylen Brown, they're probably not the number 2 team anymore. So for those two reasons, I'll take some shots on Booker. And that's probably it. I think everybody else is priced pretty fairly. Frank Kaminsky should continue to start 3,700. Just because he's starting does not mean that he's going to go out there and play 30 minutes. He'll probably still be in the low 20s. They're going to do some small ball lineups. But at 3,700, there's worse that we could do, and he makes sense as a value play.
It's a new year, and with T-Mobile, it's not about how far apart we are. It's about how close we can be. So we're bringing out our best deal. Right now, get the iPhone 12 on us on every single plan with eligible iPhone trade-in.
So I can FaceTime with my sister in Savannah.
That's right, the iPhone 12 on us on every plan. All on America's 5G leader in coverage. T-Mobile.
With 24 monthly bill credits and a new line plus tax. If you cancel credit, stop and balance on required finance agreement may be due. Contact us for well-qualified buyers. Qualifying consumer plan required. See coverage and offer details at T-Mobile.com.
Good afternoon. Would you like to try a free sample of our double fudge brownie?
Oh, sure. That's very good. I'll just take one more, just to be sure. Yep, still very good.
Some things never change, like never being able to take just one free sample. And Geico saving folks lots of money on their car insurance.
Is that macadamia nut I taste? Let me take one more.
Sir?
Yeah, I thought so.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Yeah, I like those two guys in the front court. Kaminsky, 3,700, tournament play for sure. He's playing good ball. And like you said, just targeting that Celtics front court DeAndre Ayton. Good spot, 6,800. One of my favorite centers on this entire slate.
All right, quick and simple. We'll keep it moving to the final game. Sacramento Kings traveling to L.A. take on the Clippers in this one. For injuries, we do not have the Kings yet released because they did play today. But for the Clippers, Patrick Beverley, Paul George already ruled out. as we heard, Paul George is dealing with some right toe bone edema. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm not a doctor. I think it's like a lack of blood flow to your big toe, if I'm not mistaken. So I guess he's got dead toe. Nonetheless, not fun to play with, I can imagine. And it comes in the midst of what the dude's been doing this season. And it sucks. Paul George has been absolutely unreal. He's been kind of shutting a lot of people up. Everybody almost forgot about the whole playoff P and all that mumbo jumbo of what he did in the bubble. And this dude is just good. Don't forget about it. So there's going to be some usage that gets picked up between him being out between some of these guys that we're going to be talking about. And I will be targeting a lot of them. But we'll start with Sacramento here. I'll pass it over to you, Chuck. Who are you looking at on the Kings?
De'Aaron Fox came off a good game. Another guard you'll have to decide if you want to spend up on. 8,700, good spot here against the Clips, fast pace. Harrison Barnes coming off a great game, 6,600, good price for a guy who's putting up 40-plus fantasy points in his past 3 games. So definitely a good spot there, good roster position there for Harrison Barnes. And Halliburton not starting, but the guy comes in a couple minutes into the game and just ends up just being a key role player for that Sacramento team. So 6,200, definitely going to have some Halliburton shares for sure. Holmes coming off a good game, but just not against that Clips Serge Ibaka defense. I'm going to have to pass. So that's pretty much it on the Sacramento side for me.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be spending up on Fox. Halliburton, I love Halliburton. He's probably my favorite rookie that came out of this class. The kid's a stud. He's just so polished. If people have been listening to the show, they probably heard me say, comparisons like Malcolm Brogdon, and it's in the aspect that this dude just was so NBA ready right when he came in. You would have thought that he's already been playing in the league for some time, but I don't mind taking some stabs at him at 6,200. I just have to land on it. I'm not going to go out of my way to play him. Nonetheless, it's a tough matchup still, even without Paul George. They're a little bit weaker on the perimeter, so if I'm targeting him, it would be with a Halliburton or a Buddy Hield. The other guy I'd probably maybe talk about, I don't even want to talk about it. I don't love the price. I don't love the player. I hate it, but I'm going to mention it just that way people can't say I didn't talk about it. Hassan Whiteside. He did double-double today. He did block 4 shots today in 18 minutes. So he's been getting a decent roll over the past few games, high teens, mid-teens minutes. He is a great point-per-minute guy. You don't need to play him, but he's there if maybe you're doing like a late slate or something like that, and you want to throw him in one. Slide over on this Clippers side of the ball. Things get a little bit more interesting over here because I have a ton of interest. Anytime I see Paul George or Kawhi Leonard's out, we have to gravitate to some of these guys. So with that being said, Kawhi Leonard, 9,100. Sign me up. Lock me in. I'm good with it. 9,100. He's going to be in most of my lineups. There's no reason not to. Get you that small forward eligible player. He's underpriced, especially with no Paul George. We can expect the usage rate above 30%. And it's just Kawhi Leonard. There's not much more that needs to be said. The other guy, Nick Batum, 5,100. Played him in that last slate as well. Should continue to play big minutes at the 3 and at the 4. 5,100, it's a great matchup for him. I'm cool with Batum. Should see him handle the ball and facilitate a little bit more, especially with no Patrick Beverley as well. And then there's maybe one other guy I don't mind taking a look at. I'll say 2. Marcus Morris Sr. at 4,200. Another little decent value play we could probably take a look at. Should see the minutes in the mid to high 20s with no George. Again, he's one of those other wings that can play the 3, he can play the 4. So he's a value play if you need him. And then maybe if you wanted to take a stab at one of these 2 guards between, Lou Williams or Reggie Jackson, you could. They'll get increased usage. Lou Williams finally starting to shoot the ball a little bit better. I'd probably go somewhere else. And if I had to pick one, it would be Lou Will. But I probably prefer the other plays like Batum over both of them anyway.
Yeah, I agree with the same thing. Lou Williams just finding a shot, being clutch in that last game, seems to be getting some momentum going. 5K, good price, especially on this slate. And Batum, with Paul George out, he steps up. He's getting those minutes. He's getting that usage. He's hitting threes. He's doing everything. It's just a good, solid player now. With especially with Paul George out, that usage is going to go to him. And Kawhi, 9,100. Yeah, when Paul George is out, lock and load me, Kawhi. Other than that, Reggie just doesn't seem like a roster guy for me, especially the last couple games. So that's pretty much it.
That is it. All right, man. That's the 5-game slate. Thank you guys for listening. And if you have a quick moment, please give us a thumbs up, a rate, and review. You can find the podcast anywhere you listen: Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Podbean, wherever. We really appreciate it, guys. It means a lot to us. It allows us to kind of see your constructive criticism and get better. And it also allows us just, feel good. Sometimes it's not anything that we're doing wrong. It's just, hey, guys, you're doing a great job. Keep it up. And those are great, too. If not, maybe even a little bit better. Nonetheless, we take it all and we love it all. So please, guys, hit us up over there. Give us that 5-star, that thumbs up, and turn your notifications on. Subscribe. And if you have a minute, give us a follow on Twitter. You can find me at Mike Apotria, MikeApotria. Chuck, why don't you let the good people know where they can find you?
Yeah, Chuck_Manz, MANZ, a.k.a. Monster Trip Dubber.
There it is. Give us a good follow, especially hit Chuck up. This dude has been fielding questions left, right, and center. And, if he's not busy enough, I'm telling you guys, I'm trying to make him a little bit busier. Hit him up. Get at him on Twitter. He'll be happy to help you guys out. And if you're not available on Twitter, or if you're wondering why aren't these guys answering us around 6 or 7 o'clock, it's because we're in that Discord. And I urge you guys to come check it out because it's a great time in there. It is just a big, great group of people talking about DFS, talking about season long, and talking about wager. Whether you have the fantasy pass or just the DFS pass, either way, you can get access to the Discord. So the DFS pass, obviously you only have access to the DFS side of things, but you'll be able to hang out with all of us, get your questions answered, get some lineup tinkering in there. Maybe you have some late swap advice that you need, breaking news, all that good stuff. We're hitting it up. We're talking about it, and we are helping out in there. And then, like I said, in that season-long aspect on the other side of things and in the wager pass. So many different things going on at Hoopball, guys. Check it out. Go sign up for the Fantasy Pass. If not, sign up for the DFS Pass. Only $1.99 a month for the DFS Pass, $4.99 a month for the Fantasy Pass. I don't think you can get anything that cheap anymore. But that is it. I feel like I've been talking a million miles an hour. And it's also, maybe it's just the jitters of getting back in this for not doing the show for a little while. But I'm glad to do it here with you, Chuck, though. But anything else you want to say before we take off?
Yeah, no, man, you nailed it with Discord, man. Definitely a lot of fun, especially if in your world you're just trying to talk to people about fantasy and they just don't get it, and you just want to talk to guys about that. That's just into it, and it's just a good time, and everybody's just on the same page. So just definitely go check it out. It's cool.
Yeah, it's honestly probably one of the coolest group of guys and gals that I've been able to talk sports with in a while. And you hit the nail on the head with that one, man. I bartended for about 8 years when I was in college and a little bit before college, and I do sales now by day. I've done a lot of jobs where you do a lot of talking. Believe me, sports gets brought up a lot, and it gets frustrating when you're trying to talk. Maybe it's just about your season-long league or your DFS league or whatever it is, and you get that little inclination where it's like this person just doesn't get it. They're just not there. They're not in that competitive league like me. Well, we all are. We're all doing it every night over there in the Discord. So come check it out. Come join us. But thank you guys for listening. We will be back. I think Breton is actually going to be on tomorrow, probably running solo, just because, as you guys know, we will be watching the big game over here in the States. Breton over there in Australia, handling the biz like the boss that he is. Thank you guys for listening. Take care. Let's go crush some GPPs.
See ya.
This has been a Hoop Ball presentation.
It's a new year, and with T-Mobile, it's not about how far apart we are. It's about how close we can be. So we're bringing out our best deal. Right now, get the iPhone 12 on us on every single plan with eligible iPhone trade-in.
So I can FaceTime with my sister in Savannah.
That's right, the iPhone 12 on us on every plan. All on America's 5G leader in coverage. T-Mobile.
With 24 monthly bill credits and a new line plus tax. If you cancel credit, stop and balance on required finance agreement may be due. Contact us for well-qualified buyers. Qualifying consumer plan required. See coverage and offer details at T-Mobile.com.
Good afternoon. Would you like to try a free sample of our double fudge brownie?
Oh, sure. That's very good. I'll just take one more, just to be sure. Yep, still very good.
Some things never change. like never being able to take just one free sample. And Geico saving folks lots of money on their car insurance.
Is that macadamia nut I taste? Let me take one more.
Sir.
Yeah, I thought so.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more.